Hey everybody, it's the Commodore from the Clan of the Grey Wolf, and you are watching the 10th installment of the Weekly Ringer. That's right, we've now done 10 of these. So I want to thank you all for being very supportive throughout this process and making the whole series really a tremendous success. And I hope to do 100 more, but I just wanted to thank you for really helping out in making these first 10 ring true for all of us. So thanks so much for your support, and the Weekly Ringer has definitely taken off, and that is really all up to you. So thanks a lot, guys. So in the 10th Weekly Ringer, what's going to happen? Well, first I'm going to, we did a little introspection last week. I gave you guys a Valentine's Day question, and all of you, I think it's fair to say we got a little bit more of the sentimental answers from our audience out there than we normally do, and I thank you all for being quite forward with me. And also, I'm going to tell you then, as always, what my answer to the Valentine-themed question from last week is, and then I'm going to ask you all a question that has to do with Jeopardy! So, without further ado, last week's Ringer and the question that I asked really centered around who is your video game Valentine? I kept the question very vague on purpose because I wanted to know exactly all the different directions you guys would take it. I had no idea. I had no idea where you would take it. But you guys didn't disappoint. Some of you really did take it to heart about maybe a video game character you loved. Some of you got really sentimental with your own personal situations, and some of you even asked the question about somebody in the media or somebody that just happens to like games that you know. So you guys did a fantastic job, and I want to highlight, as I always do, some of the really cool comments that are out there and some of the great ideas. I have to say, both for Tommy James and for GRA007, thank you guys for really kind of putting your heart out there. You guys talked about some of the people that you have in your own life, either with Tommy James, with his wife and his daughters, which was very heartwarming. Fantastic to hear that you got the gaming bug caught on in your household. And for GRA, the significant other in his life, to really, even though she was not a gamer, but somebody that you are talking about as a video game Valentine as well. Guys, you get a thumbs up from the Commodore. That takes an extra little bit of courage to put that out there on some geek website, and I give you guys all the props in the world, and I think you probably have the best video game Valentines in the world. But anyway, that was only one way to take it. And some of you took it in other directions. I really want to say I like a few of the answers, and I want to talk about them. Navi from Zelda. Never would have seen that coming. That's a fantastic idea, and I'm not sure what I think about it. I know it's not my choice, but the constant companion, the person that is. She's the voice sometimes when you're lost and you're trying to find where to go, and I can see that working out. I can see that being a pretty cool Valentine. Another one, Samus. Damn good choice there, guys. Although I have to say, Samus is an interesting choice because of the fact that for the most of the time, and this is just because of our own biases, this goes to show you some of the ways that we work with video games, and some of the reasons why I got involved with writing about video games to begin with. Really, our own biases in playing Metroid. Did anybody turn Metroid on and start playing Metroid and go, look, that's a woman inside that suit? I don't think any of us did, which is why it's so shocking and why we made a Painful Memories, hint, hint, video about it, because it really was one of those weird moments in video games, and so I'm glad for some of you it wasn't as painful. Maybe it is as it was for some of us, but it sounded like it turned into something pretty interesting and provocative for some of you, so that's pretty cool. Samus is powerful, Samus is adventurous, Samus is pretty much a badass, and Samus isn't afraid of anything, and I think that's pretty cool. So I think that's a really good video game Valentine. Renoa from Final Fantasy VIII, could not agree more. Fantastic selection. lots of notable possibilities from Final Fantasy that I absolutely have to say really could have been very valid choices. Renoa happens to be one of those. Man, I couldn't agree more. While I really didn't like the game, I have to say her as a character was pretty cool. I couldn't stand that she was in love the whole time with the total jackass. But I guess I could say the same thing for Padme and Star Wars. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is, I think it's a good video game Valentine. Sentimental, forward, upfront, and gorgeous. Let's not forget gorgeous. Like all of those Final Fantasy characters. Let me see. Oh, staying on the Final Fantasy vein, two of you actually said Rydia from Final Fantasy II / Final Fantasy IV. Yeah. While that surprised me, I can't help but think that's a pretty cool choice. And I'm glad that we made it clear that it was after she, was able to age, rather than when she was like the little girl, because that would have been a kind of weird, guys. Thanks so much for clarifying. I was a little worried about a few of you, and then you came through and answered. So that's good. All right. So we're not about breaking the law here. This is not a jailbait kind of. This is not that kind of website, fellas. Okay, it's just not. Anyway, so good choice. I can see Rydia. I mean, having all that magical power and being able to summon things is pretty sweet. So can't argue with that Valentine's selection. Okay. So you guys did a great job. I had a couple people. Oh, Felicia Day. I don't really get that one, guys. I'm not a big Felicia Day fan. Maybe I'm the odd one out. Maybe I'm the nerd that doesn't get it. But I'm just not. It's cool. It's cool that people like her out there and doing the things that they do. That's awesome. But I don't know. I'm not really on board with that. Okay, so now, without further ado, let me give you my own selections for my own video game Valentine. And I have to tell you, there was a pool of finalists. So I'm going to do this like this. I'm going to give you my selection pool to choose from. And we'll go from there. Okay? How's that sound? I've never done that before, so I figure why not give it a shot now. Okay, so the first person I'm going to talk about is someone that is very involved in video games, she's a video game producer, and she happens to be somebody that really is a tremendous talent, has been on some of the best projects I've seen really in all of video gaming in the past couple years, and that is Jade Raymond from Ubisoft. Not only is she tremendously talented, I've seen, obviously played Assassin's Creed as some of her best work, and really just think she's tremendously talented, knows a lot, I mean a lot, much more than I do, much more than probably most of us do about video games and the artistic function they can really serve. And she's absolutely beautiful. That certainly doesn't hurt either. So she's a definite candidate. I'm throwing her on the list. Moving along with the real people vein to this that I've got, I got to throw in someone that I had a crush on for many years, and probably secretly still do, although I try not to let on, is Morgan Webb from Tech TV, now G4. Although there is not much that I can say. I really do watch on G4 now. I've had a crush on Morgan Webb since she was on Tech TV. She's pretty much, I mean, she's got a great perspective. She really knows her stuff. She's not just playing the game. And by that I mean she's not just being this beautiful girl that they just hired because she's beautiful and she doesn't know anything about video games. She knows a lot about video games, and I think, again, much more than I do. And I think that's awesome that there are people out there like her that are, that really jump into this male-dominated thing that we have in video games. And they aren't afraid to really get down and dirty with it. And I think that's fantastic. She's very talented. I do actually like X-Play. I think they do a very good job there. I saw Adam Sessler last year at PAX, and I just went, damn, I really wish I could have. So where's Morgan? Could you hook a guy up? But probably not. It's okay. She's married too. So, but that's not right. That's not important here, right? Right. This is just the Valentines in video games. Morgan Webb makes the list. Okay. Let's see what else. I want to talk about. Let's get to a video game character. All right. So again, in my pool, I want to talk about Aeris from Final Fantasy VII. again, made a painful memory about it. When Eris dies, all of